straight, but more recently faced down the number 7 team in the nation, Maryland, and fell to East Carolina their last time out. Despite the losses, Hofstra has plenty of talent that cannot go underestimated. It's a Saturday matinee of women's college hoops. It's the Fordham Rams at the Hofstra Pride. It's Fordham women's basketball, and it's coming up next on WFUV Sports. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, inside the David S. Mack Sports Complex in Hempstead, New York. We're on Long Island today. I am Tucker Austin, joined by Dominic Sansone, and we are proud to present you Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports today. The Fordham Rams getting ready to take on the Hofstra Pride. And Dom, last time out for the Fordham Rams.
Job limiting Wallace, so we'll see if they can do the same here tonight against a very talented Hofstra team.
And we got a chance to ask Coach B if she made any changes or any adjustments after that George Mason game coming into a non-conference matchup. Take a listen to the coach's sound right now. Tucker Austin and Dominic Sansone here with Fordham head women's basketball coach Bridgette Mitchell ahead of Fordham's game against the Hofstra Pride. And Coach, this is the last game for your team until December 21st. How important is it to get the win today before heading into that finals break?
Yeah, I think that it's a recovery game, right? We just had a tough opponent, and everyone was upset with how we played. And so for us, it's how are we going to respond after a loss? And so I think that it's going to be really important to see our players come out here today and compete. And it's great, to go out the way that you want to because you don't play another game for quite a bit. So I'm really excited and looking forward to seeing our response, but then also what steps have we made in growing so that we can be ready come the 21st.
Yeah, as you said on Wednesday, you guys played a very good George Mason team, high-powered offense. You were able to hold Walton and Harris to a combined 23 points. Their two best players, a season low between the two against non-ranked opponents. Today, your team's going against the Hofstra team, only averaging 53 points. Does the defensive mindset change a little bit? Are you going to stick with the press? What's kind of the mojo there?
Yeah, we're going to bring it pressure-wise defensively. They want to slow the game down. That's why their scores have been so low. But we're going to try to speed them up and get the game at the pace that we enjoy doing. Similar to how you mentioned, we held those players against George Mason. They have some talented players on their roster that we're going to look to contain as well. But most importantly today, from us, from an offensive stance, we're going to look to run. So you should be witnessing a track meet today.
Yeah, and so with the exceptions of Alexis Black and Ugne Sartau-Tata, the Rams really struggled to find the bottom of the hoop against George Mason. I feel like we've kind of been talking about that this whole time. The turnover and rebound margins, too, were both in the Patriots' favor when the dust finally settled. So with that in mind, I know you just told us that you want to speed them up, but in terms of the turnovers and rebounds, were there any adjustments that you made this week offensively?
No, I shouldn't say no. We have to get at least 3 people minimum in double digits for our team to be successful. And so who those 3 will be is going to vary. Lex has proven to be consistently that person for us. The other 2, sometimes it's been Ugne and Lala, so other times it's been Emma. And Mason had 9 against George Mason, right? So there are a lot of people that are capable, but we need it. And so for us offensively, we got to look to continue to share the ball and to continue to make ourselves available for our teammates to create those opportunities.
Yeah, one of those players, we were wondering actually last game, Lucretia Edwards didn't check in until the final 50 seconds of the game. We didn't know if it was an injury or something that just popped up in warm-ups. Is she going to be a bigger factor in this one in the game plan?
Yeah, the goal is for everyone to get an opportunity to play. Each game is going to require someone else. That game just didn't require Lucretia's skill set for that game specifically leading up to it.
Okay, thanks, Coach. Good luck today. The Fordham Rams versus the Hofstra Pride coming up next on WFUV Sports. And we welcome you back inside of the Mack Sports Complex in Hempstead, New York. Tucker Austin, Dominic Sansone with you. You just heard from Coach Bridgette Mitchell. The Fordham Rams going to be trying to speed up Hofstra today and looking for more production out of players that are outside of Alexis Black and Ugne Sartau-Tata, who really had the 2 best performances against George Mason. For everybody else, it was kind of a struggle, but we have some starting lineups to get through here, Dom, before we get going in this one. Hofstra is going to be sending 3 guards, 2 forwards. The guards are Emma Von Essen, Chloe Sterling, making her debut this season after missing the first 6 games with injury. Emma Kareem, Ayan Ungwe, and Sandra Magaliko rounds things out for Hofstra. On the other side for the Fordham Rams, 2 guards, 3 forwards, Alexis Black and Tia Morgan the guards, London Lilly, Precious Omashola, and Emma Wilson-Saltos the forwards. Dom, this is very much a more defensively oriented Fordham lineup, but it also, with Alexis Black, Tia Morgan, and London Lilly, adds that element of speed that Coach B wants to bring to this game.
Yeah, and she mentioned in the coach's sound just moments ago, she talked and emphasized so much they need to play faster. Hofstra only 53 points per game. They do not score a ton, and that's in part largely because they like to slow the game down. They like to let Von Essen and Sterling take their time with the ball. Now, if you're Fordham, again, Alexis Black has been producing. Besides Alexis Black, the offense has been struggling, to say the least.
Yeah, to say the least indeed. And honestly, sometimes it feels like they're live and die by whoever else is scoring, because Alexis Black has been so consistent this season that it's not really a question of will she score, it's about how many that Alexis Black will be scoring for this team. She's averaging 20.9 points a game to go with 3.9 rebounds and 4 assists per game. So far, one of the most outstanding players just in terms of the pure statistics in the A-10.
Yeah, she's fabulous. She can shoot the three-pointer at the line. She's over 88%. She's great from the charity stripe. She finds ways to put the ball in the hoop for Fordham, and that's something that they really need. They've been struggling on that side of the ball. I think another person you can look at is Ornella Niankin coming off the bench in this game, and Mason Hill, who will also be coming off the bench. Those are 2 players that could definitely play a role in this one.
Meanwhile, for Hofstra, the return of Chloe Sterling, absolutely unbelievable. Sterling, last season for Hofstra, was their leading scorer in average points, their leading assister, and the leader in steals, despite missing 9 games. She was also a preseason All-CAA this season, the Coastal Athletic League. But, of course, she missed the first handful of games with injuries, so this Hofstra team has been a little bit hampered by her absence, but they've been doing a good job stepping up with her out of the lineup.
Yeah, and they're going to be blessed to get her back. The JMU transfer would be huge. We'll see how much of a role she plays in this one. Besides that, though, it's been Von Essen, it's been Ungui, it's Ben Harris really leading the charge for this Hofstra team. They're off to a little bit of a sluggish start, though, 1-5. Definitely a chance to get their feet back under him here in the Empire State.
Yeah, but that 1-5 record really not it's not indicative of the kind of teams that they've been playing. They matched up against number 7 Maryland earlier this season. Also played their first game of the season against Miami, and that's the University of Miami from Florida, not Miami of Ohio. Also coming against their last game out was against East Carolina. They lost 72-53. Both the Maryland and East Carolina games took place on neutral sites in Puerto Rico. So this team now returning from almost international duty. Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States, but it's a hike to get over to the island. But now they're back home in New York trying to get what I believe would be their first win of the season in this building.
It would, yeah, and last time out at home, they actually dropped to Bucknell. It was a 6-point game, 61-55. The Bison held on, and as you mentioned, they've really played a tough schedule. They're definitely battle-tested in that sense, and that they'll be prepared here for a decent Fordham team today. If you look at their losses, Miami and Maryland, kind of just one of those things in terms of funding and stuff. Those are Power 4 schools that ultimately you're probably not going to compete with at this level.
Yeah, I mean, Maryland, a top 10 team in the country. It's no wonder that they scored as many points as they did.
Right. Spot on. But here we go. We're getting ready for tip-off here.
Almost ready to go here inside the Mack Sports Complex. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on YouTube Live this afternoon for some Fordham women's basketball on a Saturday matinee. Fordham in all maroon jerseys, maroon shorts, white letters, and white numbers. Hofstra in home whites with blue accents, blue letters, blue numbers, all outlined with yellow. The Pride and the Rams. Hofstra of the Coastal Athletic Association. Fordham of the Atlantic 10. We're ready for non-conference action on a Saturday afternoon. The tip is won by Emma Wilson-Saltos, and we are underway. Tia Morgan has it for the Rams, top of the key. She's guarded by Chloe Sterling, making her debut this season for the Pride. Top of the key for Wilson Saltos. She's guarded by Von Essen. Now on the right wing for Omashola. Back up top for Alexis Black, a 20-plus point scorer last time against GMU. Pass inside for Wilson Saltos, goes up with the right hand, but she cannot get it to go. And it's going to be a turnover in favor of Hofstra.
That's something we touched about, too, in the coach's sound, is the turnovers. Coach B didn't really seem to be that bothered with it, but we'll see if that plays a role.
Back in action now. Chloe Sterling bringing it up. Last year's leading scorer by average for the Pride. They get it inside for Sandra Magalico, and it's stolen away by Precious Omashola. She's looking for help, but now here come the Rams the other direction. 9 minutes, 10 seconds to go in this first quarter. No score yet. Black moves all the way over to the right wing, now fires it back up top for Tia Morgan. She goes to the free throw line for Wilson Saltos. Right corner, wide open three for Alexis Black. That is no good. Rebound, though, by London Lilly. Left wing, a three for Tia Morgan. That is good. London Lilly finds Tia Morgan to assist the long three, and it's 3-0 Rams to start this one off. Coming the other way now is Hofstra. Strong move to the basket for Sandra Magalico. Rebounded, though, by Wilson Saltos after the miss, and now the Rams come in the other direction.
Fordham already pushing the pace here.
And an unfortunate moment there as Tia Morgan had her foot on the line when she received the pass in the left corner from Alexis Black. It's a turnover by the Fordham Rams. Something that they did quite a lot against George Mason, and the turnover margin showed it last time out, but a focus for the Rams today is going to be taking care of that basketball. 8:20 to go in this first quarter. 3-0 Rams over the Pride. Von Essen has it at the top of the key for Hofstra. She gives it off to Magalico. Now it's up top for Sterling. Sterling guarded closely by Wilson Saltos. And now a wide open look in the left corner for Von Essen after a swing. That's no good. Rebounded by Alexis Black.
Von Essen going to be their go-to shooter, Hofstra, if they want three-pointers.
Lilly left wing three. That's no good. Off the back iron, rebounded by Sterling. And now a quick transition for the Pride. They get it to the right wing. That's going to be a three for Sterling. No good. Rebounded by Lilly. So a lot of misses in the opening 2 minutes here for the Hofstra Pride. We get down to 7:30 to go in this first quarter. Fordham still up 3-0. Left wing near the top of the key for Alexis Black. Finds London Lilly on the right-hand side for three, and Lilly hits from the right wing, doubles up the Fordham lead. It's 6-0 Rams.
Fordham pressing the issue with the three-pointer so far. Already 3 attempts from beyond the arc.
And it's not something that they've done particularly well this year, but doing it well so far in this one, as it's a drive to the basket for Chloe Sterling. Her first points of the season for Hofstra. A nice little two with the right hand, and the Pride are on the board. It's 6-2, 6:55 to go in the first.
Yeah, if the Pride want to stay in this one, they got to lean on that JMU transfer. She's fabulous. First time out this year.
Omashola works to the elbow for a J. That's no good. Rebounded by Oyen Ongwe. Sterling, top of the key, guarded by Lilly. Steps back at the right elbow. Misses that too. Fight for the rebound. It's out of bounds. Last touched by Hofstra.
Yeah, and Sterling playing with a brace on that left knee. She's going to come out early here, so obviously want to have her back. But to what capacity and how many minutes she'll actually play in this one, we'll see.
Yeah, being her first game of the season and coming off an injury, she's the most valuable player in terms of scoring on this Hofstra team, at least from last season, so they don't want to rush her back into things. Fordham having to break a light press here by the Hofstra Pride. 6:20 to go in the first. 6-2 Rams. Wilson Saltos finds Lucretia Edwards in the left corner. She connects. Lucretia Edwards. She wasn't much of a factor in the George Mason game, but making an early impact against Hofstra today. 9-2 Rams, 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. And a steal by Lucretia Edwards. She fires it down court for Alexis Black, who settles in the right corner. Now it's back to Edwards. Left wing, three. That's good. It bowls home. Timeout Hofstra. A huge run to open this game for the Fordham Rams. It's a double-digit advantage, 12-2 Fordham over Hofstra. 5:52 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, Edwards making some noise early in this one. We mentioned that she didn't really play. You've heard it in the sound. You heard it just now. She was essentially put in what was garbage time with 52 seconds in the game against George Mason. Wasn't really in the game plan. Called for different players, but she's in today's game plan. Already 6 points on the board at the Mack Complex.
Edwards, one of the captains for the Fordham Rams, a 6-foot junior out of Chilliwack, British Columbia. Crossed the border up north in Canada, attended Fort Erie International Academy for her high school. She spent her freshman and sophomore years at Miami of Ohio. Funny we bring them up after already mentioning them. At Miami in the last season, she played 29 games but didn't start in any of them, though so far this season she's gotten a handful of starts for the Rams.
Yeah, 11 minutes a game, and as we mentioned, much higher. Just kind of got skewed that number from last game, but 6 points already. And when you look at a player like Edwards and a team captain, you think, hey, you know, how much does the mental side of things play into this? You didn't touch the court against a George Mason team. Are you frustrated maybe? How does things like that work? Obviously, no frustration. Comes in, still shooting very well, the level that she wants to shoot, and she's showing it here tonight.
Yeah, 2 very quick threes on the first 2 shots that she took. And that comes as a bit of a surprise because, you know, prior to that, she had 2 starts, but it appeared in all 10 of Fordham's games so far this season, getting just 11.3 minutes a game, though. As a team captain, you expect her to be on the floor a little bit more, but you heard Coach B tell us pregame that sometimes things just don't work out in the game plan where they just didn't necessarily need her skill set for more of that game against George Mason. But 7 for 43 to start the season from the field is a rough mark, and you have to imagine maybe it was sort of a mental thing. Take a seat for a game, let the game play out in front of you. She did check in late in that George Mason game, but I think if there was any kind of nerves or any kind of a negative mental feeling going on to start the season, some kind of a slump, I think it might be over after those first 2 shots. I don't want to speak too soon.
No, it's definitely over. There's no doubt about it. She's done fabulous, and she's going to continue to excel. 6 points already in this one. We'll see how she continues to do it here. Fordham going a little smaller here.
Yeah, now on the floor for the Rams, Tia Morgan, Lucretia Edwards. Mason Hill checks in alongside Alexis Black, still out there, as well as Emma Wilson-Saltos.
Fordham getting back into that press look. It gave George Mason trouble last week.
Full court, Hofstra trying to speed things up to get past the press. Hill guarding at the half-court line, and she forces a turnover. Mason Hill, without touching the basketball, forces Alarise Gooden to lose control. And Fordham gets possession back here with a 10-point lead. 5:40 to go in this first quarter.
That's that tenacious defense that Coach B's talked about over and over and over again. Opponents struggled against it many, many times.
Alexis Black, top of the key, guarded closely by Maddie Pounds. She gets it to Lucretia Edwards. Dribble handoff back to Black in the right corner. She drives, fires it all the way to the opposite corner for Tia Morgan, who corrals it, but now she's pressured. Gets it free. Now Alexis Black steps back for 3 from the top of the key. It's good. They count it as a 2 on the floor, but the referee indicates to the table to take another look. If that's a 3, it would make it 15-2, but for now, it's 14.
Rams off to a very hot start here, back in their home state.
And a steal here by Alexis Black, tipped into the backcourt. Both players hit the deck, and rolling over the top of Alexis Black was Maddie Pounds. Both groups on the floor help each other's players get up. Alexis Black looks a little bit shaken, but shaking her head towards the sideline. She doesn't need to come out. So much toughness to go with all that talent for Alexis Black. She lays it all out on the floor better than anybody on this Fordham team, better than most players in the Atlantic 10. Really gives her all to a program that she just joined.
Yeah, interesting to see her go for that. Obviously, I know it's early on and stuff, but up 12 points here. And Lucretia Edwards.
Edwards is going to pull that three. She thought about it, pumped and then took it, but it's no good. Rebounded by Wilson Saltos. A wild pass. Now into the right corner. Mason Hill's three. That's no good. Another battle for the rebound. Bodies on the floor again. And they're going to call this one last touched by the Fordham Rams. I believe Mason Hill was involved.
Yeah, and Mason Hill got a start last week against George Mason.
One of the two freshmen on this Fordham team that are really making big impacts early in the year, Mason Hill and Karen Easley. Easley now checked into the game for the Rams. Hill guarding Alarise Gooden closely on that right wing. Hofstra moving right to left, Fordham left to right. Top of the key here for Maddie Pounds. She's going to drive the lane from the left side, rejected by Emma Wilson Saltos. Picked up by Karen Easley, and the Rams come the other way fast. Mason Hill steps into the lane, draws the foul. Can't make the bucket, but first free throws of the afternoon for the Fordham Rams belong to Mason Hill.
Transition basketball looking very sharp for the Rams early on here. Good drive by Hill there, transition. And let's talk about the vertical on Emma Wilson Saltos.
An emphatic denial of the shot by Emma Wilson Saltos on the other end. Her defense has been her strong suit since she's come here to Fordham, and she's been at Fordham her entire career, which is a rarity in the days of the transfer portal. But Wilson Saltos, now a captain herself as well, getting it done on the defensive side for the Rams.
Longest active tenured player on this team for Fordham, and there she is again.
Hill misses both free throws, but Wilson Saltos gets the rebound. They're going to call a jump ball during the fight for it. Possession arrow pointing to Hofstra. Couple of new subs for the Rams. Morgan and Wilson Saltos take a seat. Anastasia Veljevic comes on, and Precious Omashola checks back in.
Veljevic, a big piece in that game against George Mason. Played a lot of minutes, more than the usual for Fordham.
Another press, Hofstra trying to break it, and they do across the timeline. It's Alarise Gooden, finds Von Essen. Von Essen's going to pull that from the left wing. It's no good, and it's going to get out of bounds after the large kick off the rim. Still 14-2, Rams lead by 12 with just 3:41 to go in this first quarter. It's been an excellent defensive opening quarter for Fordham.
Yeah, only 2 points allowed so far, just about 6 minutes in, so.
Karen Easley has it for the Rams on the right side. She's going to pull a long two. That is no good. Had a hand in her face from Maddie Pounds. Nice defense that time from Hofstra. A pass into the paint as Pounds was looking for Ungwe, but it gets through her hands and out of bounds. Another turnover for Hofstra. Fordham's basketball.
Yeah, that's Hofstra's 5th turnover so far. Fordham only 1 turnover to speak of, so even though Coach B kind of dismissed those concerns, Fordham straightening things out there.
Karen Easley finds Precious Omashola. Now they get it to Veljevic. Veljevic, right wing, brings it down low for Omashola. Overhand pass, cross court to Mason Hill. Steps off her defender, but now gets it to Edwards. They move it inside for Precious. Omashola's layup is no good. Off the glass, then the rim, rebounded by Alarise Gooden. Devon Essen with it now, right wing. Tries to get it down low. Ungwe moving into the paint, and they're going to call a walk against Oyen Ungwe, the senior forward at 5'11", out of Lavon, Texas. Fordham's ball again after another turnover by Hofstra. You said 5, now it's 6 against the Pride just in this opening quarter.
Gotta clean things up if you're Coach Santos Atkinson. Cannot happen.
Karen Easley trying to work around a screen. She gets it to Precious Omashola on the right wing near the top of the key. Nice find inside. Lucretia Edwards cutting to the basket. Omashola finds her in stride, and Lucretia Edwards makes the 2. 16-2 Fordham, and Anastasia Veljevic forces a turnover on the other end. That press coming into play and working well for the Rams to start this one off. Hofstra looked flustered out there trying to break it.
Yeah, they need to figure out a way at the break here at the quarter to break this Fordham press. And it gave George Mason issues too, and that's a very talented ball club.
Easley after the inbound. Now back to Alexis Black, top of the key. She's going to set the offense, calls a play. She's guarded by Emma Kareem now in the game, the sophomore forward out of Parede, Portugal. Black driving the left block, gets it up top. Anastasia Veljovic, a three from just to the right of the top of the key. That's no good. London Lily fights for the rebound, gets it, fires it over the rim. Rebound, Omashola, another miss. Still a battle for it as Emma Kareem is forced to throw it in off of London Lily to try and prevent another turnover.
And Fordham much more in control of this game. The George Mason game, very, at times, just didn't look like they knew what they were doing. And you know, their offense much more in rhythm today, getting the looks they want, getting the shots they want, and not only doing that, also converting at 35%.
And, you know, this Hofstra team, they have the ability to get really hot. There's a lot of really good talent on this Pride team as well, but they also have the liability to go on these long, dry stretches in terms of scoring. They have not scored in the last 5 minutes 11 of game time in this first quarter. 1:45 to go. 16-2 is the lead for the Fordham Rams. London Lily guarding Emma Kareem. Now they get the ball down low for Sandra Magaliko, who puts it in, ends the drought. Magaliko with the right hand, and it's 16-4 Fordham.
I think Hofstra should go a little bit to their size, maybe in Diavion Harris or Magaliko, as you mentioned, 6'1" and 6'3".
Precious Omashola with it, right wing. Now Alexis Black, right corner, guarded by two defenders. Black tries to get it out, and she does find London Lily. She's going to pull a two from just above the free throw line. That's no good. Rebound Omashola, reverse layups, also no good. And the rebound goes to Hofstra. Chloe Sterling working on Anastasia Veljovic, and it's stolen by Veljovic. She's going the other way. She's got one defender to beat, and she cannot. Off the glass, no good. Rebound Omashola, fight for it, and they're going to call a jump ball possession arrow for the Fordham Rams. Fordham getting a lot of second chance opportunities under the basket, but they're not very high quality looks when they do get those second chances. We've seen a couple of shots on second chance opportunities go square over the entire rim. Some of them nowhere close to going in. It kind of seems like they're just throwing up panic shots under the basket.
Yeah, and in a sense, sometimes too, playing too fast.
Got to find a way to play fast, but to stay within yourself as well as the Rams get going again on offense. Veljovic, top of the key, but she can't put it on the ground. Before she moves that pivot foot, Veljovic called for the travel. 37.9 seconds to go in this first quarter. Fordham with a 16-4 lead. And if Hofstra finishes this quarter with just 4 points, it will have been probably one of Fordham's best defensive performances in a quarter yet this season.
Yeah, Hofstra's low in a quarter, 6 this season. So Fordham got a shot with 30 seconds here to do just that.
Sterling has it, top of the key, guarded by Alexis Black. It's about 6 seconds, maybe 7, between the shot and the game clock. Sterling trying to work around a screen. Alexis Black hits the deck. They find the right wing three for Maddie Pounds. It's no good. Loose ball on the right side of the key. And it's another jump ball whistled here. 7.5 seconds to go in the first quarter. Hofstra's basketball, no shot clock, and a 12-point deficit.
Yeah, Fordham started out really, really hot in the quarter, kind of cooled off since. Last few minutes haven't gotten really anything to drop. And I think, as you mentioned, when they get those looks down low, obviously you want to go up with the basketball, but at times maybe you think, hey, let's kick it out to one of our three-point shooters. Let's get it to Black or Edwards or someone similar in that nature.
And they try to get it to the top of the key, but that is going to roll all the way out of bounds. Clock stops with 1.4 to go in the quarter. And it's going to be Fordham's basketball here after a bit of a blunder by Hofstra. And if I'm not mistaken, what could be the 9th turnover of the first quarter for the Pride. Quick inbound to Alexis Black. Her three from the right side is no good. She's jumping up and down, holding her head. She really wanted that one to go, but an absolutely blistering first quarter by the Fordham Rams, the likes of which we've not yet seen this season. 16-4 is the lead for the Rams after one. We're going to step away for just a moment, but we'll be right back with more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rucco, WFUV class of 2008. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
And welcome back inside the Mack Center in Hempstead, New York, on the campus of Hofstra University. Tucker Austin and Dom Sansone with you. In between the first and second quarter on this Saturday matinee of women's college hoops between the Fordham Rams and the Hofstra Pride. Fordham with a strong offering in the first 10 minutes. 16-4 is the lead for the Rams, but you take a look at the box score, you look at this shooting percentage. Things have gotten really, really rough for the Rams since going on that initial run. By the end of the first quarter, they were 1 for their last 12 from the floor, and a lot of those coming on second chance looks pretty much right under the basket that are mostly contested by Hofstra players who had been battling for the rebound and then transitioned into being defenders. But really, it's kind of looks that you imagine Fordham doesn't want. Maybe swing the ball out and try to reset the offense.
Yeah, look for Fordham to slow the ball down here a little bit in the second quarter. They did play fast. They did exactly what they wanted to with Coach Mitchell's game plan, but in the process of it, they also got a little sloppy shooting the ball, forcing shots up that they didn't need to. They had time on the shot clock. They could have kicked it out and played low to high and high to low basketball, driven to the hoop, and gotten more of those chances that were higher percentage looks. Obviously, you're under the basket. It should be makes on these layups, but they're highly contested looks. You're not going to be able to always get the ball to drop into the basket when someone's in your face.
Meanwhile, for Hofstra, it was pretty much just a dry spell for the first. Well, they scored within the first minute or so, then a dry spell for the next 6 or so minutes. It was only ended by Chloe Sterling's first points of the season.
Yeah, Magalico and Sterling, the lone scorers in that first quarter for Hofstra. And as I mentioned, Sterling still kind of working back from that left knee injury. Don't want to use her too much. Want to make sure she's healthy. So,
as Alexis Black going to start things off with a 3 from the top of the key and 1. Alexis Black gets her get back from the end of the first quarter. The missed 3, she connects to start the second. 19-14 Fordham, and Black's going to the line.
Yeah, and that is why she is the star on this team. Always kind of there for this Fordham team. Beyond the arc, driving to the hoop, at the charity stripe. Just fabulous, 89% shooter here. Trying to make it a 4-point play.
Black at the line looking to make it 20-4, and she does. She hits the deck again with Emma Kareem going by her. It was Kareem who fouled her on the 3-point shot the first time. Maybe a little theatrics there from Black trying to work an extra foul. A quick transition for Hofstra. In the corner, it's Emma Von Essen. She can't hit off the front iron, rebounded by Chloe Sterling. Sterling gets it to Von Essen again. Emma Von Essen on the right side. Still looking for an option. And she tries to get it to Chloe Sterling, but it's tipped out of bounds by Anastasia Veljevic. She's so talented in the passing lanes and great hand-eye coordination all the time to get her hands on the basketball whenever she can.
Yeah, great awareness for Veljevic out of Fort Erie International, coming down to the States from Mississauga, Ontario, right across the border, outskirts of Toronto. Little geography lesson.
And they go inside after the inbound. Chloe Sterling finds Sandra Magalico, but the buzzer sounds for the shot clock violation. And another turnover by Hofstra. Fordham's basketball, 20-4 Rams, 9:10 to go in the first half. Edwards finds Mason Hill on the left wing. Screen by Wilson Saltos. Now back to Wilson Saltos on the pick and roll. but they're going to call a foul inside against Chloe Sterling on Emma Wilson-Saltos, who was moving through the paint trying to get the outlet pass, but now Fordham will take it underneath. Second foul of the second quarter. Just a minute gone for Hofstra.
Yeah, and Hofstra back to their man-to-man set on defense. Came out in what looked like a little bit of a 1-3-1 zone, and Fordham was able to break that pretty easily.
Ball out of bounds for the Fordham Rams after the inbound. And so now the Rams will press. 4 players on the offensive half of the floor without the basketball for Fordham, but Hofstra able to break it nonetheless. Emma Kareem, top of the key, gets it to Sandra Magalico, guarded by Emma Wilson-Saltos. Magalico moves into the paint and puts up the floater with the right hand from the left post. Gets it to go. It's 20-6 Rams. Tia Morgan works it inside for Emma Wilson-Saltos, looking for options. Moves to the right post, now finds Lucretia Edwards in the right corner. She sends it back inside for Wilson-Saltos, tipped away and picked up by Tia Morgan. Morgan works around Saltos, back to Lucretia Edwards, and they're going to call the travel against Edwards. Didn't put the basketball on the floor quick enough, and that's the second travel of that nature today for the Rams.
Yeah, officials very stringent on that call.
Long pass to the half court for Von Essen to break the press. A little weave go for Sandra Magalico, but she can't connect with the right-handed layup, and now a quick transition by the Rams. Mason Hill tosses up a shot. That's no good. Fight for the rebound. Emma Wilson-Saltos has her hands on it. They call the foul, and they hit the floor after the whistle. Von Essen was involved there with Wilson-Saltos. Von Essen still on the floor. They're going to pick her up. I'm not sure who the foul is going to come against here. I think it might be a reach, and it is against Von Essen. And she's going to check out as well in favor of Maddie Pounds.
Yeah, she was a little bit banged up there, holding on her head. Probably going to go and get checked out there on the bench.
Yeah, it was hard contact to the floor with Emma Wilson-Saltos as they fought over the basketball. And came a little bit after the whistle, but the initial foul was against Von Essen. Wilson-Saltos had the possession. Niankin now in the game for the Rams. She pulls along too. That's no good. But a leaping rebound by Emma Wilson-Saltos. Now an open look for Tia Morgan. They swing it to Mason Hill. Hill back up top for Niankin. Niankin trying to drive into the lane. Stops at the right post. Puts it up with the right hand. It's no good. Another rebound by Wilson-Saltos. Puts it back up with the reverse, the left hand. That's no good. It goes over the rim. 5-on-4 the other way for Hofstra, and it's an air ball from the left side by Emma Kareem, way to the right. Out of bounds, last touch by the Pride. 20-6 Fordham, 7:28 to go now in this second quarter.
Both teams shooting the ball under 30% from the floor. Shots unable to drop here.
Some of them good looks, some of them rough looks. There's been a whole mixed bag today from the Pride and the Rams. Edwards in the corner, now Wilson-Saltos. Saltos, right block, spins off the defender. It goes up with her right hand, but it's short, and the rebound falls for Alarise Gooden. Gooden tries to find her teammate underneath. Magalico tipped out of bounds by a Fordham Ram, but it's going to stay with the Pride as Ugne Sertauteta checks into the game for the first time today.
Just going to mention, where has Sertauteta been all this time? But here she goes for the first time in this one, and as Coach B mentioned, different games, different game plans, and how certain players match up.
An inbound for Alarise Gooden, but they call the walk against Gooden, and that's another turnover by Hofstra. I think Sertauteta checking in the game probably has something to do with the fact that 2 6-footers are out there on the floor for Hofstra, in Olivia Van Patten and Sandra Magalico now. Right wing Edwards tries to get it down to Ugne Sertauteta, but there's a whistle on the floor. Believes she put her foot on the line, stepped out of bounds. Surely it wasn't a travel. She didn't take any steps.
Couldn't be, right? I mean, today, the way things have gone with the travels, maybe. 6:40
now to go in the second quarter. 20-6 is still the score. The Rams haven't scored in the last 3 minutes and 1 second of game time, 0 of their last 5 from the field. Hofstra gets the ball over to Kareem. Now it's with Van Patten, the freshman forward. Underneath, it's a battle between Magaliko and Sertau Teita, but they're going to whistle the foul against Ugne Sertau Teita. That should send Sandra Magaliko to the line for the first free throws of the day for Hofstra.
Yeah, Magaliko going to head to the stripe. Right under 50% from the line, though, so not a huge threat at the stripe.
Magaliko, a 6'1" grad student out of Maputo, Mozambique, misses the first of 2. She spent her freshman and sophomore years at New Mexico Junior College, then her junior year at Arizona State, transferred to SMU in her senior year, and then made the grad transfer over to Hofstra. So her 4th team of her college career. She makes the second of 2. She was with SMU with the Mustangs for their first season of ACC basketball, so experienced in a Power 4 conference. Morgan has it for the Rams, now the other direction. 6:12 to go in the second. They get it down low for Sertau Teita, puts it up and in with that left hand. And a smile on her face as she runs back the other way. 22-7 is the lead now for the Rams.
Yeah, Alexis Black just got back in the game. Not going to keep her on the bench too long amidst a scoring drought, so.
Ball nearly gets away from Alarise Gooden, but she regains it, now drives into multiple defenders and puts it up softly with the left hand. Alarise Gooden for 2, 22-9. 5:40 to go in the second quarter. Rams have the lead. Tia Morgan, top of the key. She's guarded by Pounds. Left wing 3 and a deep one for Alexis Black, and she hits.
Cannot give her that much room, and wherever she is on the floor, if there's not a girl within 2 feet of her, you got troubles on your hands.
25-9 now after the triple by Alexis Black. 5:17 to go in the second. A double team on the left wing for the Rams. Hofstra frantically trying to get this basketball inside, and it looks like another foul coming out, I believe, against Ugne Sertau Teita, and again against Sandra Magaliko, the 6'1" forward. So the size matching up well enough that Magaliko's not getting the easy looks at the basket, but Fordham got to be careful if a player like Sertau Teita is going to get multiple fouls, although I believe they called that one against Tia Morgan. Almost 5 minutes to go now as Hofstra gets it inside. Now to the right wing for Alarise Gooden. That 3 is no good, short of the rim. Air ball rebounded by Mason Hill. She gets it to Alexis Black, tries to get a bounce pass down low for Ugne Sertau Teita. It's tipped out of bounds by Magaliko. The battle between Sertau Teita and Magaliko is going to be a fun one to watch in this game as it goes on. But with the ball out of bounds, that's going to be a stoppage under 5 minutes, so we're going to step aside for just a moment. 25-9, the lead now in this second quarter for the Fordham Rams. Once again, 4:55 left in the first half, and we're going to be right back with more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Michael Kay, WFUV class of 1982. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
Welcome you back inside the David S. Mack Sports Complex on the campus of Hofstra University in Hempstead, New York. Just outside New York City, a little bit east on Long Island, and just a short bus ride away from Fordham University in the Bronx. Tucker Austin and Dominic Sansone with you, where Fordham Rams women's basketball has had one of the best starts to a game that they've had all season here. The 6-4 Rams trying to get back in the win column, leading 25-9 over the 1-5 Hofstra Pride. And Dom, I just want to take a moment to look at the all-time series here between these two teams. Fordham leading all-time 11-8. This is the 20th meeting between these two New York area schools. Fordham, though, 3-6 when they come on the road to Long Island to play this team. Although right now, they look certainly to be in position to improve that record a little bit.
Yeah, they've had a challenge here, actually, in this specific gym. As you just mentioned, not very good percentages, but kind of owned them at home. And I think what you're seeing here, too, is Fordham also came off a disappointing loss. They talked things over. They're trying to get things back on track. And they're not going to play another game for 15 days. That's another thing that we should take into account.
Yeah, getting a little break in order to focus more on their final exams at Fordham University just around the corner. But yeah, Coach Mitchell told us pregame that really nobody on this Rams team was happy with the way that the George Mason game went. Even though that first quarter they get out of it with a lead, they played really good defense. Overall, the entire team was on the same page in terms of disappointment about how that game went against the Patriots. So I think they have a unified mindset now coming into this one, knowing they want to put on a good, not only a good, but a dominant performance, and they're certainly doing that so far. The last time the Rams were in Hempstead was November 2013, where they lost 77-64. So a return for the first time in more than 10 years to the Long Island for this game against Hofstra, and Fordham in control early. Ornella Yankin has it on the left wing, moves to the free throw line and pulls that too, but it's no good, off the glass to the right of the rim. Sertauteta got her hands on the rebound but couldn't control it, goes out of bounds, Hofstra's ball.
As you mentioned, 2013, did you say? That's 12 years ago. A lot can change between two programs in 12 years.
They've played since then, but only at the Rose Hill Gym. Fordham has won the last 2 games in this series in a row and 7 of the last 10. Into the paint goes Ungwe. Her shot is no good, a fading floater with the right hand. Rebounded by Fordham. Alexis Black, top of the key, gets it down low for Ornella Yankin. Spins off a defender, finds Ugne Sertauteta, throws up a running floater, that's no good. And a rebound by the Pride. Sterling, top of the key, guarded by Karen Easley, the number mirror, both number 3. Mason Hill guarding Von Essen, and Von Essen's layup is wild and no good. It hits just grazes the rim, or just grazes the net rather, below the rim. Out of bounds, last touched by Von Essen, Fordham's ball. 3:45 to go in the second quarter. 25-9 the lead for the maroon and white. Easley, top of the key, carrying the ball now for the Rams.
Back into that zone look for Hofstra, try to mix things up.
Looking for options and now gets it to Sertauteta, still at the top of the key. Right wing 3, Alexis Black, that's no good. Rebound Hofstra. Sterling guarded ferociously by Karen Easley at the half-court line. Just to wait for a screen and does, but a good switch by Sertauteta, steal by Easley, picked up by Sertauteta, thrown down 4 for Alexis Black. She throws up the right-handed layup, takes the contact. No good on the shot, but she gets the foul. Alexis Black going to the free throw line, looking for a pair of points. Fordham up by 16 with 3 minutes to go in this first half.
Tremendous first half. Gotta improve the shooting numbers, but the defense has been there. And I think if you're the Hofstra Pride, you have to work the ball to your 2 senior guards, Sterling and Von Essen. They haven't gotten enough good, high-quality looks, and showing here with only 9 points through 17 minutes of basketball.
Alexis Black, one of the 3 captains on this Rams team. She misses the first free throw. She was named A10 Co-Player of the Week earlier this season from November 17th to 23rd. An App State transfer. She connects on the second of 2 to make it 26-9. Clock ticks under 3. Hofstra with the basketball. Alarise Gooden trying to get by Karen Easley. Still working near that logo, as that one's going to be tipped out of bounds by Ornella Yankin. Nice hands guarding Kiana Black-Stewart, the freshman forward, also standing at 6'1", now in the game for the Pride. A lot of 6-footers on this squad.
plenty of height, and Fordham not necessarily known for their height down near the rim. Ugne Sertotate, the tallest on the roster at 6'1", so see if they can make that adjustment, maybe work it down to their bigs.
I think they're certainly making up for it, though, are the Rams, in terms of their defensive prowess. Maybe they don't have the size, maybe they don't have the rebounding, although they are leading the rebounding by 5. 21 boards for the Rams, 16 boards for Hofstra, but you look at the steals. Fordham has stolen the ball 6 times away from Hofstra, created 6 turnovers. Meanwhile, the Pride have not had a single steal against the Rams.
Yeah, Fordham 2, 11 points off turnovers. Hofstra a mere 3.
Gaining ahead of steam was Gooden, but now she had to dump it out. And that's going to be a charge against Maddie Pound. She tried to drive into the lane, but Ornella Niankin does an excellent job taking the contact with her feet planted, draws the charge, and draws another turnover for Hofstra.
Turnovers really piling up for the Pride. Cannot continue to give the ball back to the Rams empty-handed with no points.
13 turnovers in the game now for the Pride as easily ball's tipped away, but she gets it to Black in recovery. Alexis Black finds Ornella Niankin, top of the key. She drives the lane all the way to the basket. Ornella Niankin, her first points of the afternoon on the right-handed layup, 28-9. Scoring drought for Hofstra now at 3:35 of game time. And another turnover. London Lily comes up with the basketball. Clock under 2. Alexis Black steps into a 3 from the left wing. That's no good off the right iron. Rebounded by Sandra Magalico. And there's a whistle for a stoppage. Another turnover. The press forces another turnover. Alexis Black getting ready for an inbound. And it seems like every other time the Pride touch the basketball, it winds up in Fordham's hands.
Yeah, it's that pressure. She talked about it. Tight man-to-man defense.
Black with a move at the post. They're going to wave off the shot and call it an offensive foul against Alexis Black, throwing the elbow out there to try and get some space. A little bit like Michael Jordan, if any of you out there think he pushed off. Personally, I think it was legal.
It was legal. It was most definitely legal. But Black back to the bench, her second foul. So
she might be taking a seat for the rest of this first half with just 1:35 to play in the second quarter. Easley, Morgan, Niankin, Wilson Saltos, and London Lily out there for Fordham. Von Essen tries to get the pass inside, but another steal. Tia Morgan this time, and she gets it forward for Wilson Saltos. A nice, easy right-handed layup in transition. The Fordham Rams up to 30 points now, 30-9. It's a 21-point lead with 1:13 to go in the second.
And the Hofstra Pride again almost turned the ball over. Just so sloppy on the offensive end and in transition.
Another wild shot off the backboard, rebounded by Karen Easley. Easley works into the paint, finds London Lily on the right side, thinks about a 3, but then retracts. Niankin, right wing, now about 1.5 feet above the free throw line. Ornella Niankin hits the 2. Timeout Hofstra. Goodness gracious, Dom.
The fireworks on defense for the Rams.
Fireworks on defense, fireworks on offense, too. The scoring drought that happened between that first quarter and second quarter has completely gone away. It's now a 10-0 run for the Rams in the last 4 minutes, 44 seconds. Meanwhile, Hofstra hasn't scored in 5 minutes, so well beyond that scoring run for the Rams. Hofstra is so deep in the hole here, but the Rams, you got to admire their ability to rebound from a loss against George Mason that saw them down by double digits for a majority of the second half. Now, coming into Long Island, it's another road game, another hostile environment, but a much shorter trip. No flight, just a bus ride, and the Rams came ready to throw down this Saturday afternoon.
They did, and they had some travel issues going to George Mason. We were on that plane. A little bit of an issue with a couple players getting down there, delayed 3+ hours. Couldn't get the bus on the tarmac for the longest time, and today it's easy. 1 hour down to Hempstead on an Academy Mercedes-Benz, and
And they're going to call a jump ball, give the ball to Hofstra after the inbound, but it was another instance of that full court press. Kayla Berry had her hands on the basketball for a moment.
If you're Hofstra, too, in one sense, you want to get guards on the floor so you can break the press. But in another instance, you want to get bigs on the floor to get it down low and kind of chip into this lead because the shooting has not been there for the Pride.
Hofstra had to work a little magic to break the Fordham press, but now even more pressure. Top of the key, Alarise Gooden pulls and can't hit. Excellent contest by Tia Morgan at the top of the key. Forces an air ball from Gooden.
Yeah, fourth air ball of the night, too, for Hofstra. Just off. And Fordham probably going to take the air out of the ball here in the final 30 seconds.
27 seconds to go. 3 seconds separate the shot in the game clock. London Lilly in the left corner. Tries to get it to Wilson Saltos. Pops up in the air, and it's brought down by Alarise Gooden. Gooden forward for Kareem. Kareem down low for Magaliko. Back to Kareem. Looking for an option guarded by Easley. Kareem works into the paint and flips up a shot. It's no good. There's a foul. It was rebounded by Magaliko. I believe that one might be coming against Tia Morgan. And it is. It's going to be Tia Morgan's second foul.
That'll also put Hofstra in the bonus. Only 7.5 seconds left, though. Not too much of an issue.
Yeah, Fordham also in the bonus at this point. Hofstra with 5 fouls against as well. Magaliko stands at the free throw line. Makes the first. Magaliko was already 1 for 2 at the stripe in this game. Make it 2 for 3 now. And looking to make it 3 of 4. But she misses the second.
That ended
a quick turnover after the miss, but it's another miss by Alarise Gooden, and that is going to bring us to the end of the second quarter. So Fordham couldn't get another possession. Hofstra added a point with that free throw at the end. A 4-point first quarter for Hofstra, a 6-point second quarter has them at just 10 after 20 minutes of basketball. Dom, credit the Fordham Rams. They played an unbelievable defensive first half and absolutely took care of business coming into this game after a loss.
They did. They came out hot and started with a very big run there in the first quarter, and defensively they have been staunch. Hofstra unable to get anything going. 10 points in 20 minutes of basketball for the Pride.
The Fordham Rams getting 10 points worth of scoring. Alexis Black back into double digits again. She's 3 of 7, 2 of 5 from 3. The Rams are 6 of 13 as a team from beyond the arc, which is a much different sight to see than what we're generally used to with this squad. But it's certainly outshooting Hofstra at 0 of 9 from three-point land. They can't get anything to fall, really. They're 4 of 20 from the floor. The Rams, though, they've thrown up a lot of shots. They've taken 16 more field goals than Hofstra has, but they've made 12 of them. Hofstra's made 4. At times, basketball can be a very simple numbers game, and the numbers just entirely stacked in favor of the Rams.
Yeah, in large margin, too, the rebounding and the turnovers have all gone Fordham's way. Hofstra has to take care of the basketball if they want to get back in the game. You can't turn the ball over 10 times in one quarter. It's not a recipe for success. They have 17 turnovers in the game to Fordham 7, more than double what the Rams have.
17 points off of turnovers for the Rams, just 4 for Hofstra. And the second leading scorer for the Rams, Lucretia Edwards. How about that? After her 2 threes, she only checked in with like 50 seconds remaining in the George Mason game. But the second leading scorer for the Rams today, she's certainly playing in a lot more. Fordham doing a great job defensively across the board and still getting a decent spread on the offensive side. However, they still have 20 minutes left to play for them to carry this one to the finish. For now, though, we are going to step aside and send you to a portion of a very exclusive one-on-one interview between Kurt Sippel, Alex Diaz, and Rebecca Lobo. You can take a listen to that right now, and we will be back for the start of the second half.
Welcome back to One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. I am Kurt Sippel, joined alongside Alex Diaz for an exclusive interview with Rebecca Lobo. She's an Olympic gold medalist, a UConn basketball and New York Liberty legend, and a Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame inductee. Rebecca is now a reporter and color commentator for ESPN's coverage of the WNBA. Rebecca, welcome to the show. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Great. And we'll just jump right in. You were part of some really great UConn basketball teams. I mean, one of your teams went undefeated and you won the national championship. What was that like to be a part of those teams?
Well, Kurt, what's interesting about sort of my experience being at UConn is I was part of the first national championship team, which was back in 1995. And none of us had any idea what was to come. And so now it's sort of like the first of 12 or the first of this incredible dynasty that's grown in stores over the course of the last 30 years. But for us, we were just, a bunch of teammates who really enjoyed one another, who had won Big East championships, but had never been to a Final Four. At least my class and the players I played with hadn't. That had this magical run and had a chance to win a national championship right at a time when women's basketball was getting really popular. And so for us, it was just this incredible experience for our group. And now, 30 years later, when I look back and just think of, wow, it not only was that for us, but it was the first of what was to become, basically the greatest program in the history of the women's college game. And so see it through a very different lens now than I did when I was your age and a senior in college.
You talk about being a part of one of the greatest dynasties in all women's college basketball. We have to talk about Gino Auriemma with that. Not many players get to be coached by him, but he's been super important, I think, to women's basketball and has helped shape many careers. How did playing for him shape you as both a player and a person?
Alex, he changed my life. That was one of the things that I said in my Hall of Fame induction speech back in 2017, is if I hadn't gone to UConn, my life would have been completely different. If I hadn't played for him, my life would have been completely different. And not just because winning the national championship, things changed for me personally, but just kind of how he taught me about what I can do and what I can become. And I was always a hard worker, but playing for him brought it to a whole different level of expectation for myself. And he's had that impact on people for, this is his 41st season at UConn that they're about to start. He and Chris Daly, his associate head coach, have been there the whole time. And he's had players, throughout that time frame, and all of them kind of say the same thing: is that he changed our lives in terms of what we believed we could be, not only as basketball players, but in all the other areas of our life as well. And he's been such an incredible influence on so many women. And you look at all the players who played for him and what they've gone on to do in their lives, whether it's Brianna Stewart or Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Tina Charles, Renee Montgomery, all these players who are having an impact, yes, on the basketball court in the WNBA, but also in a broader way, and the impact they're having, whether it's social justice initiatives or whatever it is. He kind of empowered all of his players. And I think they've continued to go on and just have a real impact, again, whether it's inside basketball or outside of it.
Well, you win the national championship in 1995, and then you go on in 1996 to win Olympic gold, and then you become a member of the inaugural season of the WNBA. What did it mean to do all of those things at once and kind of being thrusted into this whole entire new look of women's basketball?
Again, it's something that meant something very different then versus what it means to me now. Like at the time, I was just thinking, I am so fortunate to have this timing that I have. Because when I was a junior in college, I thought my path was going to be graduate from college, go overseas and play professionally, because there wasn't anything here at the time in the US. And then maybe, save some money playing professionally in Europe somewhere, come back and go to law school. Like that was my grand plan for myself. And then I was just really fortunate that the Olympics happened in 1996, and I was able to be on that team. We trained for an entire year leading up to the Olympics. And then, holy cow, the WNBA is starting in 1997. And as that stuff is happening as well, all of a sudden there's more college basketball games on television. There are now WNBA games on television. So, when you look ahead, that then becomes my career. But none of that was in play at the time. So at the time, I'm a 21, 22, 23-year-old kid just thrilled that I'm going to have a chance to play basketball and keep playing professional basketball here. But of course, down the road and in the age I am now, I look back and think how fortunate I was that all of these things happened when they happened, and that led to the path that my life has taken for the last 30 years, that at the time I had no idea would sort of be this beautifully paved path that would be just let out for me.
I'm sure you had no idea then what it would be like to start this new league, but I'm sure there had to be pressures. How did you balance that? And what were some of the biggest challenges that you, maybe some of your teammates faced playing professionally in that very first WNBA era?
Well, the crazy thing, or one of the crazy things, Alex, is when the WNBA was announced, Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, and I were the ones who were kind of doing all of the marketing and the media and the appearances. And the reason for that is because we were the only three players signed to the league for a while. And so like October, November, December, on the heels of winning gold at the Olympics, the three of us are out at all different kind of events. In the new year, we're at NBA All-Star functions. And, because we're doing all these photo shoots and promotional shoots, because for a while we were the only players that were signed to the league. And then, everything starts in 1997, and there was a lot of pressure, just because, we all of us grew up without a professional league, or, if a women's league had started, it hadn't lasted. We were kind of the faces of the league, so there was pressure to perform. But at the same time, it was a really fun and thrilling time, especially for me to be in New York, of all places, and getting a chance to go to all these different functions and events. And, I'm going to the Video Music Awards, or I'm going to movie premieres. And I'm like, this is really cool. This is something I never expected. But the good thing for us anyway is that it was the age before social media. So it's not like, we could look down at our phone and have somebody insulting us whenever they wanted to. I could just walk through Central Park and have somebody insult me there, but not in the palm of my hand. But so it was sort of in some ways a really charmed time for all of this to start for us. But also there certainly were some pressures, but the excitement, I think, trumped all of that.
Adding on, what do you think your generation, how did it change women's basketball? As well, how have you seen women's basketball keep changing as new generations continue to play?
Yes, certainly. The game has changed a lot over the course of the last 30 years. Next season will be the WNBA's 30th season. Just like the NBA has changed over the course of the last 30 years in terms of how the game is played, pace and space and people taking threes and all of those things. Like the X's and O's on the court have evolved. While at the same time, there were great players in those early days. There are great players now. There are more great players now than there were in those early days. And and obviously the way the women's game has exploded in popularity is much different even right now than it was 2 years ago. Kind of the Caitlin Clark effect on all of women's basketball, whether it's at the college level or the pro level, has been incredibly significant. But it's been a joy for me, even, the past few years, just to walk into Barclays Center and see, a sold out arena of multi generations coming to watch these women play, all different cultural backgrounds coming to cheer on these women. You guys have been at Liberty Games. It's an event. It's a party. It's incredible. And I played at Madison Square Garden because that's where the Liberty played back in my era, and there was sort of that feeling in those days as well. But it's been really fun to watch how the league has grown and how it is in Barclays now, how it is in different arenas around the country, and just sort of the different level of new fan that we have that maybe we didn't have 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Going off of being able to experience all of these crowds in different places, once your playing career ended, you transitioned into broadcasting. What drew you to that? What was the preparation like, and what was some of the more challenging parts of transitioning to broadcast?
Well, what drew me to it is it allowed me to stay around the game. And, as I mentioned, like there weren't a lot of opportunities to cover women's basketball. Like when I was coming up through college, I would have been a communications major if I thought that was a real career path. I didn't think it was. And so I was actually a political science major, like expecting to go to law school at some point. But right after I got out of college, I had an opportunity to do some stuff in studio during the NCAA tournament for ESPN. And then right when I retired from the WNBA, I retired after the 2003 season. And the next year, 2004, that summer, I was asked about, the WNBA is looking, we're going to add a sideline reporter. Would you be interested in being a sideline reporter? And without having any training whatsoever, had no idea what I was doing. Fortunately, the first game I worked and that first summer that I worked on WNBA games as a sideline reporter, Doris Burke was our analyst. And she's one of the best sideline reporters of all time. And she kind of took me under her wing and said, all right, this is what you need to do. We're going to go to shoot-arounds, talk to some players, get some stories. During timeouts, you're going to listen to the huddles. If there's anything that's really good to add as we're talking coming out of break, when you've been in the huddle, you're going to do that. So it was sort of like learning on the fly for a while. And now it's incredible because there's a real career for a lot of people, a lot of women as well in women's basketball. Whether it's, high-level college basketball, no matter what division it is, what conference it is, or in the WNBA, there's a lot of opportunities now for people to do this. And that simply wasn't the case, 30 years ago when I was kind of first starting.
As an ESPN color commentator, sometimes you're put into hard situations when having to be critical of players that you might have personal relationships with. How have you balanced that as being a commentator as well as being a representative of the players and having the personal relationships with them?
Kurt, it was a lot harder when I was right out of school because you don't ever kind of want to be critical of a friend of yours. So if it was somebody I had played with, that was hard. I think where I am now is it's never personal. Never make anything personal. Like, if you want to say, and also there's ways to say things instead of saying like.
And we welcome you back, ladies and gentlemen, inside of the David S. Mack Sports Complex on the campus of Hofstra University in Hempstead, New York. Tucker Austin and Dom Sansone with you. If you want to catch the rest of that interview with Rebecca Lobo alongside Kurt Sippel and Alex Diaz, you can do so on Fordham's YouTube page, which is where you're listening to this game right now on WFUV Sports YouTube Live. We're getting ready for the second half between Fordham Rams women's basketball against the Hofstra Pride. The first time Fordham's been in this building for women's basketball since 2013, and the first game between these two squads since 2020. Fordham put up two 16-point quarters to get themselves up to 32, meanwhile holding Hofstra to now their lowest quarter point total of the season, 4 in the first, and then tying their previous lowest point scoring total in a quarter with 6 in the second quarter. Fordham with a completely dominant defensive performance. But Dom, what do you need to see out of these Fordham Rams to bring this game to the finish line?
They gotta continue to be very, very uptight on defense. They've been great. They've caused 17 turnovers so far. They need to continue to do that. They need to press. They need to stick to their man-to-man defense. Offensively, though, they need to shoot the ball a little bit better. Only 33% from the field. The reason they have 32 points, mind you, they have 6 3-pointers. Very uncharacteristic for this Fordham team. Not a three-point shooting team by any metric. Really, Alexis Black, the only one able to shoot three-pointers on this team regularly. Others stepping up, and Lucretia Edwards. We'll see if they can do that in this second half.
And we're underway. The Rams with the basketball to start it off. Tia Morgan thinks about a three. So does Alexis Black. She steps up to the free throw line. Back to Morgan. Morgan also pumps, drives the lane, puts it up with the right hand, but it's off the glass, no good. She gets her own rebound, tries to lay it in, but it rolls over the rim. Last touched by Emma Kareem. Fordham basketball.
And that's one of the things we touched on in the first half is those shots that weren't going, getting the rebound, going right back up with it, and being unable to get those second chance points to drop as well.
Looking for an option on the inbound. The Rams get it to Omashola. Now it's Morgan swinging around to the left side for Alexis Black. Fordham going right to left now, and Hofstra from left to right. Pass by Alexis Black is tipped away, but a fight for the loose ball, and it does eventually get to Hofstra. A long toss down the floor. It winds up with Von Essen. Her three from the left corner is good. Emma Von Essen connects for the first time from three-point range, and Fordham cannot let her get hot. She scored the most points of any player on this Pride team in 24-25.
Not someone you want to shoot the ball. Elite sharpshooter for Hofstra.
London Lily gets a look from the top of the key. She can't answer. It rims out. Rebounded by Chloe Sterling. Sterling brings it to the top of the key, guarded by Wilson Saltos, dumps it off into the corner for Ungwe. And Oyen Ungwe gets that three to go, back-to-back triples for Hofstra, and suddenly it's 32-16, that Ram lead, down to double Hofstra's score. Precious Omashola, left elbow, spins on the defender, goes inside, too strong with the left hand. It's a rebound for the Pride.
Coach Mitchell, 3 members getting ready to check in for this Rams team. Not a good start to the third quarter.
No, it's the same starting lineup that the Rams went with in the first quarter here in the third, but things not going to plan so far for Fordham. Hofstra with it, 32-16 Rams lead, 7:55 to go in the third quarter. Top of the key, it's Sterling. She's fouled by London Lily. That'll be Lily's first personal, Fordham's first of the quarter.
Need to find a way to get 2 and 3 the ball if you're white. Von Essen and Sterling kind of playing on.
Sterling missed the first 6 games of Hofstra's season this year, making her debut in 25-26 this afternoon. She gets it to the left elbow for Magaliko. She drives to the right block, puts it up with the right hand, and it's a run to start the third for Hofstra. 8 points, and it's now 32-18 Rams, 7:30 to go in the third. Tia Morgan with it right wing, gets it to Wilson Saltos. Saltos gonna pull that too from the right side, about 12 feet away. It's no good. Rebound Von Essen. Emma Von Essen into the right corner for Ungwe. Ungwe finds Sterling. She's guarded by the freshman Mason Hill. Sandra Magaliko, right elbow. Now Sterling, left wing, drives to the right elbow, into the paint, up with the left hand, and gets it to go off the glass. 32-20 as the scoreboard moved there for a second. Threw me for a loop. But 32-20, it's now a 12-point lead for the Rams. Their advantage is bleeding away. 6:40 to go in this third, and it's stolen away by Sandra Magaliko. Coast-to-coast, right-handed layup. It's a 10-point game.
Official looked over at Coach B. She's like, I ain't calling no timeout. Not yet. Wants to see her team work out of this jam that they've put themselves in.
And a foul comes out against Sandra Magaliko. It's going to be her first of the game as Ugne Serto Teta and Alexis Black check back in. Tia Morgan and Emma Wilson Saltos going to take a seat. Fordham with all 4 of their timeouts. Hofstra had to use 2 in the first half, so Coach B with a couple of timeouts in her pocket to hold over Hofstra, but not content to take them so far in this third. Serto Teta backs down Ungwe in the paint and puts it up with the right hand. Finally ends the run for Hofstra, and it's 34-22 Rams.
Needed to stop the bleeding there. 12-0 run shut down, and that's what you love about Ugne. Able to get her the ball in pressure situations. She always is able to convert for these Rams.
Emma Kareem with it. Right hand dribble, now gets it to Ungwe. Ungwe, right wing, looking for an option and working on the Yankin. Gets to the right block, double teamed. 4 seconds on the shot clock. They have to fire with Emma Kareem. That's no good. Rebounded by Lucretia Edwards. Edwards fires it down floor for Hill. Hill has Serto Teta with her. Tries to get it to Alexis Black in the right corner, but it's tipped away by Emma Kareem. And it almost looked like these two teams switched bodies at halftime, Dom. The Rams looking much sloppier here, a lot like how Hofstra played that first half. Meanwhile, Hofstra is playing all of the pestilent defense, getting in all the passing lanes, and disrupting Fordham's offense.
Yeah, if you don't think Coach Danielle Santos-Atkinson talked about the turnovers at the break, you are crazy.
Sertau Teita tries to go underneath with the left hand this time, but she is fouled. They're going to call that one, I believe, it's against Kiana Black-Stewart. The first of the day for Black-Stewart and the second of the third quarter for Hofstra. Hofstra has scored more points in this third quarter than they had in the entire first half, as Ugne drops the first free throw, 35-22, 5:34 to go in this third.
No turnovers for the Pride in the first 4 minutes of the half. 17 in the first 20 minutes of play here in Hempstead.
2 for 2 for the Lithuanian. 36-22 the lead for the Rams now. Top of the key, Alarise Gooden. She gets it to Von Essen. Emma Von Essen back to Gooden. Gooden's guarded by Mason Hill. In the left wing, ball nearly gets away. Lucretia Edwards tries to steal. Kareem, corner three is good. Emma Kareem makes it 36-25. Hofstra back within 11. Niankin, top of the key, guarded by Von Essen. Mason Hill thinks about the three, now finds Lucretia. She's guarded by Ungwe. Tries to move inside, gets it to Sertau Teita, moves strongly into the paint and puts it up with the right hand, 38-25.
The touch on the big girl, the Lithuanian. Beautiful
Ball on the floor. Niankin, Von Essen wrestling over it. It's going to stay with Hofstra. But yeah, excellent play by Sertau Teita. And we're going to take a timeout. First stoppage under 5 minutes in this third quarter. 38-25, Fordham trying their damnedest to fend off this Hofstra Pride team that came back with a force to start the second half. We're going to step away for just a moment, but we'll be right back with more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
Welcome back to the Mack Complex on the campus of Hofstra University in Hempstead, New York, on Long Island, just an hour's ride away from the Rose Hill campus of Fordham University in the Bronx. The Fordham Rams women's basketball team leading Hofstra 38-25. They had a much bigger, as many as 22 points. Now leading by 13 after a quick Hofstra run to start the second half. Fordham did well to sort of stop the bleeding, starting to find the bottom of the bucket a little bit more in this second half. And I would say that's thanks to Ugne Sertau Teita, who's been enforcing her will a little bit in this third quarter against some of the sizable players on this Hofstra team. They have a couple of 6-footers over there, but Sertau Teita never afraid.
Yeah, and we haven't even seen the biggest from this Hofstra team. Diavion Harris, really nothing to speak of. A Bronx local, we mentioned a little bit before the game. Trader, maybe not. If you're from the Bronx, you play for the Bronx. Ask Emma Wilson-Saltos. She'll be the first one to tell you, and she's been fabulous in this one as well. 6 rebounds so far for Wilson-Saltos and the Rams.
Fordham still shooting by percentage worse than Hofstra at 31%, but they've just taken so many more shots that they're kind of just berating the Pride with shot attempts. 14 for 44 so far for the Rams, 10 for 27 from the floor. for Hofstra, but a big difference in the threes. 6 for the Rams, 3 for the Pride. Inbound to Magaliko. She gets it to the left side for Gooden. Gooden works inside the left wing, now back out to the three-point line, drives into the paint, gets it to Magaliko, goes back up with the shot, but it's off the front of the rim, and she tips it out of bounds herself. Although it may have gone off a Fordham Ram, and I believe it has, as Gooden is going to stand under the basket for an inbound.
Ideal start for Hofstra to this third quarter, and going to have to continue to get the ball to Von Essen, continue to get it to Kareem and Ungwe. That's the recipe for success here in this quarter.
Von Essen, top of the key, finds Magaliko down low. She's fouled by Anastasia Veljovic, but disappointed with herself on the miss. Goes up and over the rim from the right to the left, but they're going to get Veljovic for the push that sends Magaliko to the line. She's going to try and bring this game back within 11 points.
If you're Hofstra, too, you were down 23 at the break, and just to be able to see yourself, all right, we can have a chance to cut this lead in half with these 2 free throws, be huge for the morale and the mentality of this team right now.
First one goes down for Magaliko. The Mozambique native and graduate transfer from SMU misses the second of 2, but it's last touched by Kayla Berry, and so Hofstra, after the made free throw, going to get the basketball back. 4:20 to go in this third quarter. It's Von Essen in the right corner for 3. That's no good. Rebound by Alexis Black. She's guarded by Emma Kareem, but Black forces Kareem to double back onto defense. Down low for a wide open Sertau Teita, but she misses the left-handed layup and then commits the foul immediately against Magaliko in transition. A rough play there. Sertau Teita making a couple of heavily contested short-range shots earlier in this game, gets a wide-open look under the basket and can't connect, and then commits the foul after the miss.
Just looked like she was rushing it there, out of her rhythm. When she gets the ball and she's contested, she's in her rhythm, she trusts her touch there. Going too quick, and Fordham responding with a full-court press. No turnovers, as mentioned, and there's the charge, so they'll get the ball back again.
Alexis Black hits the floor, taking the contact from Magaliko on the full court press and draws the charge. Excellent work by Alexis Black. She's holding on to that left shoulder a little bit. Maybe just rubbing a bruise. She hit the ground pretty hard, and not the first time that she's done so in this game. Inbound goes to Alexis Black. Clock ticks under 4 minutes. 15 seconds on the shot clock here as Kayla Berry is on the right wing, guarded by Ungwe. She gets it to Black, asks for a screen from Sertau Teita, gets it, tries to get it back to Ugne, but now it's in the right corner for Veljovic. Veljovic pass to Ugne is stolen by Magaliko, and Veljovic going to pick up a reach-in foul as Magaliko was crossing half court. Veljovic takes a seat, Tia Morgan checks in.
Yeah, Black, big concern there, rubbing that shoulder. Cannot have her go down. Needs to be able to play the rest of this year. Obviously, we talked about it, 15 days of break. Plenty of time to rest up after this one for Fordham.
Pass inside for Magaliko. Her shot no good. Rebound Berry. She gets it forward for Alexis Black. Tries to drive, and there's a reach. Magaliko picks up another foul. That's 2 on her in the last minute or so, and her 3rd of the game. It's going to be Hofstra's 4th, so Fordham 1 off the bonus here.
Still 3:20 to go in the quarter. Both teams 4 fouls.
Ugne going to get whistled for the travel here. It's another instance of a travel where there was an initial look towards a pump fake and then a movement putting the basketball on the floor, but the referee says it wasn't soon enough. Sertau Teita takes a seat. It's now Wilson Saltos, Mason Hill, Alexis Black, and Kayla Berry on for the Rams. Meanwhile, it's Emma Von Essen, Chloe Sterling, Magaliko, Ungwe, and Kareem for Hofstra. 3:11 to go in the third, 38-26 the lead for the Rams. Magaliko Gets it back to Sterling. Her three from the left wing is good. 38-29. And Hofstra has worked back within double digits.
Tremendous third quarter for the Pride. Excellent defensively, held the Rams 6 total points.
And a quick drive by Tia Morgan. She lays it in with her right hand. Fordham going to stick around with the full court press as they're up 40-29. Kareem gets it out to Sterling on the right side. A look for Von Essen from the right corner. That's no good. Rebounded by Tia Morgan, but they're going to call the over the back against Emma Kareem. That should put Fordham into the bonus now. Tia Morgan going to head to the free throw line.
Yeah, Morgan, 3 of 3 on the season, so she'll have a chance to continue to keep that streak at the line and push Fordham's lead higher into the double-digit category.
Lucretia Edwards takes a seat. Kayla Berry in the game.
Alexis Black still nursing that left shoulder. Also her left hand as she went down hard. Gives a thumbs up to Wilson Saltos, checking in on her.
Morgan ready for 2 free throws. First one's good, makes it 41-29. For Tia Morgan, the 5'8" graduate student transfer out of Chicago, Illinois. Spent her freshman and sophomore years at Tyler Junior College, then junior and senior year at Arkansas Pine Bluff, before spending a 5th year at Purdue Fort Wayne, before heading to the Bronx to join the Fordham Rams. 42-29, as Morgan was good on both. Michaela Hodge in the game for the first time, a freshman center forward at 6'3" for Hofstra. Going to spend most of her time near the paint. She gets the basketball guarded by Wilson Saltos. She gets it to Kareem. High screen by Hodge. Kareem drives, finds the corner, and it's good. Alarise Gooden from the right corner. 42-32, 10-point lead for the Rams, 1:50 to go in the third quarter. Alexis Black dribble handoff for Tia Morgan. Morgan gets it to Hill on the right side. Hill to the right block, up with the right hand, high off the glass, and gets it to drop. 44-32 Fordham.
Beautiful move, but Hofstra really upping their shooting game in this half.
They get it forward past the Fordham press to Von Essen. Von Essen, a deep 3 from the left wing. That's no good, off the front rim. Rebounded by Alexis Black. Fordham has an odd man rush, 3-on-2, left corner 3. Tia Morgan is good.
Way to take the air out of this crowd, and you're going to get a Hofstra timeout, their 3rd of the game, as they were starting to crawl back on that Fordham lead.
Tia Morgan, just when the Rams needed it, puts them back up by 15 points, 47-32, with 1:16 to go in this third quarter. We're going to step aside for just a moment, but excellent response in this third by the Fordham Rams. We'll be right back with more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Michael Kay, WFUV class of 1982. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
We welcome you back inside of the Mack Sports Complex here on the campus of Hofstra University in Hempstead, New York, the home of Hofstra Pride basketball, where here the Fordham Rams women's basketball team leads the Hofstra Pride 47-32. We're in the middle of a timeout taken by Hofstra. Danielle Santos Atkinson wanting to talk things over in her 7th season at the helm of the Pride. and taking her third time out of this game, just one remaining with 1:15 or so to go in the third quarter. What a response by the Rams. Hofstra, after scoring 10 points in the first 2 quarters, they put up 22 already in this third, which is more than the Rams scored in a single quarter so far in this game. But Fordham right on track to score just about as many points in this third as they had in the first 2 quarters. But I think if you're Fordham, you do want to try and match Hofstra to keep them at a safe arm's length away from closing that lead, because there was a very strong run by the Pride at the start of this third quarter, about 8 points that they swung towards the Rams. If it's within 10, Hofstra could very well get back into this game the way that they get hot.
Yeah, good teams let these type of teams hang around. Great teams, when you're up 23, you bury them and finish them, and that's what Fordham needs to have, kind of that killer instinct, up 22-plus points at the break. But Hofstra, credit to them, 5 of 9 on 3-point field goals in the half, or in the third quarter, I beg your pardon. 8 of 14 from the floor in general in the third. So good job shooting the ball for the Pride in this third.
Another press by the Rams, broken by Hofstra. Gooden with it, top of the key. The freshman Mason Hill taking the assignment against Alarise. Gooden, ball gets away as she tried to get it to Michaela Hodge. It's stolen by Tia Morgan. Alexis Black is whistled for the travel on the left wing. It's another travel called against the Fordham Rams. At this point, it really just looks like happy feet, Dom. They must be moving their feet a little bit before they move the basketball. Alexis Black wasn't really trying to dribble, though, at that time. She actually dumped the ball into the left corner on a pass. But clearly enough of both feet moved for the referee to say, no, that's a travel.
Yeah, we aren't watching Giannis in the NBA, that's for sure here, Tuck. Very, very tight on that call all day, but to the officials' credit, it's been both ways.
Just 47 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Fordham with a 15-point advantage. Ball tipped away, stolen by Ugne Sertau-Teta. That defense showing its teeth again for the Rams. Pass inside for Niankin, moves around a defender and puts it up with the left hand off the glass. It goes. 49-32, 30 seconds to go. Fordham still pressing. Alarise Gooden with the basketball. She gets it to Kareem. Kareem forward for Von Essen. Von Essen sends it back to Gooden. Gooden at the top of the key. Tries to get it again to Hodge, but it's stolen by Sertau-Teta, who has to hit the floor. It's a jump ball. Looked like maybe a bit of hardwood burn for Sertau-Teta. A screech on the floor as she went down. She's back up, though. Looks to be hopping it off. 13.7 on the clock. Shot clock is turned off. Tia Morgan has it for the Rams, now into double figures with 10. 2 for 2 from beyond the arc is number 7 in maroon and white. She passes to Sertau-Teta. Ugne flips it up and in for 2. Right before the buzzer, Hofstra inbounds and the buzzer sounds. Fordham 51, Hofstra 32. An excellent answer by the Fordham Rams as they run right back on Hofstra after Hofstra ran in the first half of the quarter. Fordham with 19 to Hofstra's 22 to maintain a lead of 19.
And you talked about it, that safe distance. Fordham, a 9-0 run in the last minute plus of that third quarter. That is
Hi, my name is Ryan Rucco. WFUV class of 2008. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Ready to start the fourth quarter of action between the Fordham Rams and the Hofstra Pride here at the Mack Sports Complex on the campus of Hofstra in Hempstead, New York. Emma Von Essen ready to inbound it right in front of us to Alarice Gooden, and we are underway in the final 10 minutes from Long Island. Fordham trying to get back in the win column before a 15-day hiatus for final exams. Gooden has it on the right wing. Now it's with Magaliko. Back to Gooden, works around Magaliko for a screen. Now it's up top for Emma Kareem. Kareem's guarded by Alexis Black. Bounces out to the left wing and pulls the three. It's no good on the step back as it's rebounded by Serto Tata.
Tremendous box out under the hoop by Niankin.
Morgan working on Gooden. Dumps it out for Mason Hill. Now it's down low for Serto Tata. Backing down her defender, they're going to wave off the shot. Not really sure what the call was there. It looks like they're going to call a restricted area violation possibly against Sandra Magaliko. I believe that was what the call wound up being.
Don't see that one every day.
But either way, Magaliko picks up her fourth foul of the game with 9:15 to go in the fourth. She's the leading scorer for the Pride. One more foul, and their leading offensive player will have to take a seat. Inbound Tia Morgan. Tries to get it back to Ornella Niankin. It was a bit of a no-look pass. I don't think Niankin was ready for it in the slightest. Sloppy turnover by the Rams, 9:07 to go, 51-32 the lead for Fordham.
Magaliko won't be on the bench long here for Hofstra. Down 19, 9 minutes to go. You probably expect her in the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, Olivia Van Patten, the freshman forward, is in as her replacement for now. Von Essen pulls from just to the right of the post. To the right of the right post, I should say. She misses the two, and it goes out of bounds. Fordham's basketball here. A minute gone in this fourth, 8:54 to go as Karen Easley checks in. Tia Morgan will get a breather.
Von Essen just out of rhythm today. 1 of 7 on three-pointers, 1 of 9 from the field. Can't get anything to drop for Hofstra. Now they're back in that zone.
Von Essen had made the most three-pointers this year for Hofstra, as inside once again is Ugne Serto Tata, dominating in the paint in this second half. 53-32, the lead is back up to 21 for the Rams. Emma Kareem. Now it's Alarice Gooden. Gooden guarded by Hill. She gets it to Ungwe. Ungwe over to Gooden, left wing. Hill with a contest. Driving is good into the left block. She's fouled. Alarice Gooden going to go to the line. That's the first foul of the game for Mason Hill. First foul of the fourth quarter against the Fordham Rams. Fordham in maroon from head to toe. White letters, white numbers, white accents. Hofstra in home whites, blue piping, blue letters and numbers with yellow outlines. The Pride down by 21 after the free throw missed by Gooden. She makes the second. 1 for 2 on this trip. 8:13 to go in the fourth quarter. 2 minutes already gone, and Fordham with a 20-point lead.
Shocked to not see a full court press of their own from Hofstra, down this many with so little to go.
Serto Tata backing down Ungwe. Spins and puts it up with the right hand. Ugne Serto Tata has taken over as the leading scorer for the Fordham Rams. 14 points for the Lithuanian. Von Essen, top of the key. It's Ungwe now, near the left elbow. Von Essen, right wing, guarded by Easley. Works around a screen by Ungwe. Gets a nice pass inside to Alarise Gooden. They call the foul, count it, and one. Gooden going to the free throw line, looking for a three-point play here.
Three-point play on one end, but let's talk about the Lithuanian locomotive. 14 points. It's rare that anyone besides Zero is leading this team for Fordham. Alexis Black, almost always you could bet, leading this team in points, and instead tonight it's number 21.
Gooden converts the three-point play, makes it 55-36, back within a 20-point game. And that's going to be a turnover, unforced, by the Fordham Rams, trying to push things forward a little bit too fast. Ball got away. As now London Lily is going to take a seat in favor of Lucretia Edwards. But you mentioned Sertau Teita, the locomotive, as you called her. She's been so good for the Rams so far this season. Second leading scorer on the team and one of the best rebounders on the squad as well. Shooting 50% from the floor coming into this game, and she's 6 for 8 on the game today. 2 for 2 at the line. Turnover for the Rams. Karen Easley goes coast to coast with the right hand and lays it in.
5-5 up and over the 6'1 forward out of St. George's. Olivia Van Patten got burned there. Easley just too cool with the finesse around the hoop.
Easley, another freshman. And Dom, they didn't call her clutch in high school for nothing. Pass inside to Magaliko. Her floater is no good. Rebounded by Easley. She gets it forward for Alexis Black. Right corner, three by Lucretia Edwards is no good. Rebound that time by Olivia Van Patten.
Edwards trying to put the dagger in with 6:30 left in the quarter.
And another quick drive. Emma Kareem trying to go to the bucket, but they're going to whistle her for a travel now. 22 turnovers in the game for the Hofstra Pride against 14 for the Fordham Rams. Excuse me, it's 23 now after the travel. So Fordham didn't do an awesome job taking care of the basketball to start the third quarter, but the turnovers have come back to haunt Hofstra again now here in this fourth.
Not only that, too, 13 offensive rebounds for the Rams, 6 for the Pride, getting bullied in and around the hoop. Another one storyline in this one.
Alexis Black is fouled as she nearly dropped that one. Getting shifty in the painted area is Alexis Black. She's going to go to the stripe. She's 2 for 3 there today. It's the fourth foul of the game now against Maddie Pounds as well. So Pounds and Magaliko both with 4 fouls, and Magaliko is out there standing on the left block. On the left side of Precious Omashola, now in the game for the Rams.
Doesn't look like Pounds is coming out of the lineup either here. I think it's do or die time if you're the Pride. Down 23 points here.
Alexis Black. Yeah, Black makes both from the line. Chloe Sterling in trouble in the backcourt, but they do finally break that press from the Rams. Olivia Van Patten gets it to Von Essen, and Von Essen connects from short range. She's been cold for a lot of today from beyond the arc, but Von Essen that time getting it to go from the right elbow. 59-38, Fordham still in front by 21 here. 5:45 to go. They're going to call an offensive foul against Precious Omashola. Gives the ball to the Pride.
Turnovers and rebounds. The story of this one, Tucker. It's been all Fordham in and around the hoop and the full court press. You'd think, yeah, up 21, they'll give them a break, right? No, still ferocious full court press every time after the Pride score.
Magaliko into the right corner. That's Van Patten for a three. That's no good, though. It's off the right rim. Rebound Magaliko. She goes up again for the shot, but it's a foul. They're going to call another one on Precious Omashola. And Sandra Magaliko going to go to the line. A couple of subs for the Rams. Niankin, Omashola take a seat. Kayla Berry, Emma Wilson-Saltos back out for the Fordham Rams. It's good to see a fresh Wilson Saltos out there because, as you've been saying in this game, Dom, she's been playing some excellent defensive basketball as well as being really, really aggressive on the boards, cleaning the glass very consistently on the defensive and the offensive end. Fordham going to need her for the stretch run.
Yeah, blocking. I think she picked up a block earlier in this one as well, and that plays into things. Kayla Berry, too. Haven't seen much of her tonight, so Coach B really wasn't lying. She said players will play game to game kind of, and what we need in a game plan. Different players bring different skill sets, and clearly Edwards not needed as much in last game with the skill set, and Berry not as much in this one.
And a bad foul there by Pounds. That's going to be her 5th, and she is done.
Von Essen went to the bench moments ago, still trying to catch her breath, and no more time to do that. Back in.
She's got to check back in for Pounds. Pounds fouls out with 0 points, 0 for 2 from the floor, 0 for 1 from 3, a rebound, and a couple of turnovers in 11 minutes of game time. Easily left wing, she's trapped, but she dumps it off for Tia Morgan. Tia Morgan's jersey a bit darker maroon with all the sweat. As that's a turnover forced by Von Essen, who just checked in. She's guarded by Wilson Saltos, gets it to the left block for Magalico. That's going to be a foul. They could call it on either Berry or Easley. It is against Kayla Berry. Only Berry's first. She only has 5 minutes in this game, so Fordham, with that depth, they have the ability, the fouls to give, essentially. They do send Magalico to the line, but if you're the Rams, you'll certainly take free throws over Hofstra getting good or open looks from either 2-point or from 3-point range. Free throw is going to be the best way to keep Hofstra from getting back into this game.
Yeah, you can't let them to the line. And another thing, too, is for Fordham, numbers starting to look a little more what they're used to. And obviously, small sample size early in the game. They're 41% from the field, closer to the numbers that Coach B wants this team to be at. And Hofstra right at 35%. That's what they've held opponents to in this season so far. So Hofstra shooting right around what was expected.
Well, Coach B told us pregame that they need 3 players in double figures if they want to win. Fordham has 3 players in double figures now. Now it's about nursing this game to the finish in the last 5 minutes. 5 to go in the fourth quarter, a 20-point lead for the Rams, 59-39 over Hofstra. We're going to step aside for just a moment, but we'll be back with the remainder of the fourth quarter right after this. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rucco, WFUV class of 2008.
Just about an hour away from Fordham University's Rose Hill campus in the Bronx, the Fordham women's basketball Rams making the short trip over to Long Island, where they now lead the Hofstra Pride 59-39 through 35 minutes of play. We got 5 to go, and a 20-point lead seems a very defensible one for the Rams, but we saw in that third quarter what this Pride team can do when they get hot. They brought it to within double digits from down 22. Fordham going to have to keep up their defensive intensity to keep Hofstra away for the remainder of this one.
Yeah, can't let away from the press. Have to be physical around the rim. Brought Wilson Saltos back into the game. Serto Teta, fabulous on the offensive end. As you mentioned before, going into break, 3 players in double figures. They do have that with Morgan, Black, and Serto Teta. They need to keep that up and then obviously be more physical in and around the rim. Wilson Saltos in there for that aspect.
And we come back to Sandra Magalico free throws. She makes the first. The foul was against Kayla Berry. On the floor, though, but with Fordham at 5 fouls, that put Hofstra in the bonus, and Magalico cashes in on both of those free throws. She makes it 59-41 with 4:54 to go in the fourth quarter. Karen Easley out there with Berry. She gets it to Berry. who sends it back to the top four. Wilson Saltos, nice find underneath. Lucretia Edwards cutting to the bucket and gets the layup from the left side. Another 20-point lead for the Rams, 61-41.
4 players in double figures now for the Rams.
One of them only played about less than a minute last time out against George Mason. Shout out to Lucretia Edwards, who's having an excellent impact despite a bit fewer minutes than a lot of the other players on this team. But, I mean, Fordham has 10 players with at least 10 minutes in this game. It's unbelievable the way that Bridgette Mitchell has been cycling players in and out. Berry, top of the key for Wilson Saltos, looking for that same cut play to Edwards, but it wasn't there. Berry, now Wilson Saltos, backs into the paint, up with the left hand, that's no good. Rebounded by Berry, she can barely not get it to go. Rebound by Magalico. Remember Sandra Magalico at 4 fouls as the leading scorer for Hofstra. She's got to play it safe, or she'll be spending the rest of this game on the bench. There's a foul there on the shot. They're going to call it, I believe, came against possibly Wilson Saltos. No, it's against Tia Morgan this time.
Fordham.
That's Morgan's 4th.
And Fordham, too, picking up 5 fouls now, so any offensive foul that occurs would obviously give them the ball back, but any general foul would send Hofstra to the line.
61-42 after the first one was good. Second is good as well. 61-43. A foul and one coast to coast. Karen Clutch Easley with the soft touch on the right hand, and she's got a chance at a 3-point play.
Easily making a little noise as of late. 2 buckets. Chance to make it 5 points on the game now here at the stripe. Only 1 of 4 on the season now.
2 rebounds and an apple to boot. Easley's free throw is good. 3-point play converted. 64-43. Back to a 21-point advantage. Under 4 to play in this 4th quarter. Chloe Sterling, in her return from injury for the first time this season for Hofstra, gets it to Van Patten. Gets it to Von Essen, who is stolen away by Edwards. Forward to Kayla Berry, who's wide open in transition. 66-43, the 2 by Kayla Berry. And now still a full court press from the Rams. Lucretia Edwards nearly falls trying to get to Magalico, who now picks up her dribble at the right wing. She gets it to Sterling.
So who they play and who they face up against, just so quick, so twitched up.
And great eyes for the basketball, too, on the defensive end. Sterling steps into a 3. That's no good. Rebound Wilson Saltos. 2 minutes 30 to go in the game. Down court from Easley to Lucretia Edwards. No good. Rebounded by Wilson Saltos, who fires a hook pass out to the top of the key for Karen Easley, who nearly gets it to go off the front of the rim, then the glass, then out. Rebound Alarise Gooden.
And just as we mentioned, Easley almost with a strip attempt there. Got the ball back. So twitched up, so short. Tremendous coordination.
Sterling picks up a blocking foul by Anastasia Veljevic, so Sterling going to go to the line here, but a 23-point advantage for the Fordham Rams. Emma Wilson Saltos going to go get a breather as Ugne Sartauteta checks in.
And if you're Hofstra, you got to be glad that Chloe Sterling is back. The JMU transfer from Kennesaw, Georgia. Still probably not 100% working back from that injury, but
still with that brace on that left leg.
Absolutely fabulous for this Hofstra team. She led them in scoring earlier in this one. The only Pride member close to double digits. She's got 9. Magalico with 14, but definitely happy to have her back.
Danielle Santos Atkinson calls her 4th and final timeout of the game at 2:05 to go in the 4th quarter. 66-43 the lead for the Fordham Rams. Now might be as good a time as any to just run quickly through Coach Santos Atkinson's resume. 7th season at the helm of the Hofstra Pride. Her record here, 56-116. It's been a program that really was in trouble before she got here, and I would say her impact has been significant on this program. Their most successful season was last year under her leadership. They went 14-16, 9-9 in the CAA though, good for 7th, and they made the run all the way to the CAA championship game where they eventually fell to William and Mary. But I mean, this is a team that in her first year with the Pride, they were winning 2 and maybe 3 games total in a season. To now bring that program all the way to a 500 season, all the way to the conference title game, I mean, you definitely got to give props to her. And it's no question that she was going to be able to do this. She's had experience just about everywhere in the ACC, SEC, Missouri Valley, and the CAA as a coach. She's been to 6 NCAA tournaments, 2 of them as a player, and 4 women's national invitational tournaments.
Yeah, and she went to the University of Florida, and tremendous basketball down there. Clearly, you know, Todd Golden's got that team humming on the men's side of things right now. Last year making a deep run into that tournament and ultimately coming up very successful. So definitely a program changer for sure here at Hofstra. Glad to have her as the head of this program.
Chloe Sterling hit both her free throws, improves to 4 of 4 from the stripe today, but it's still a 66-45 game. Kayla Berry finds Ugne Sertoteta up top for Veljevic. Veljevic left all alone on the right wing. She's no good from 3. Edwards gets the rebound and throws up a shot off the front of the rim. Sertoteta with the rebound, and she is fouled with the right hand. And that's Magaliko. Sandra Magaliko's 5th foul, and the second player for the Hofstra Pride to foul out of this game is also the team's leading scorer with 14. Magaliko takes a seat with 14 points on 4 of 9 shooting, 6 of 10 from the line, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 turnovers in 32 minutes.
Pounds and Magaliko now out of the game. 2 starters for this Hofstra Pride team, and you know, you look at them, they do not have the depth clearly that Fordham has in terms of being able to go with so many different players, whether it's Veljevic, whether it's Edwards. So much talent all over the court for Fordham.
Ugne Sertoteta misses both free throws with Fordham at 66 points, leading 66-45. But she steals it away, throws it down floor for Karen Easley. Now it's forward for Lucretia Edwards, who loses control. Sanaya Barton, the freshman who's now in the game. Barton, left wing, up top for Emma Kareem. She calls for a screen from Kiana Black-Stewart. Couple of freshmen in the game now for the Pride. 1:05 to go in the fourth rather. Big contact underneath. Emma Kareem going for the layup, and I believe that's Karen Easley who was under the basket trying to contest. Emma Kareem still on the floor. Easley is up and limping just a bit.
Kareem went down hard there trying to get that play to the hoop, and she's still down here on the court, grimacing.
It seems like both players took some hard contact to the ground. Couldn't quite see which body parts actually hit the ground because it was a bit of a mangle under the basket. But if you're a Fordham fan, good to see Easley up and moving around after that one. But Kareem still getting checked out by the trainers on the floor.
Yeah, it looks like they're working on her left leg.
We're going to step away for just a moment during the injury timeout. We'll be right back, though. 1:02 to go in the fourth, 66-45, the lead for the Fordham Rams. We'll be right back after this with more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Michael Kay, WFUV class of 1982. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
As we welcome you back inside the Mack Sports Complex, and Emma Kareem leaves the court under her own power, assisted only lightly by the trainers, as she's now going to get checked out behind the Pride bench. Von Essen is out there to take her free throws, misses the first off the left rim. Score stays 66-45.
Yeah, Amber Del Moral and DJ Magler taking a look at Kareem. Hopefully she's okay moving forward.
Second of two is good for Von Essen, 66-46. Of course, always wish all the best for an injured player, and she seemed to be pretty okay once they did get her up. They'll give her the works over there to check and make sure. Emma Kareem, it really has been a very solid part of this Hofstra team today, a team that has struggled mightily overall, and Lucretia Edwards drills a left wing three from very deep. What a shot by Edwards that time to put a dagger in this one. 69-46 with 32 seconds to go. As Sterling tries to work on Precious Omashola, gets it up top to Van Patten as Caleb Berry nearly takes a header. Sterling's three is no good. Rebound Von Essen, back to Sterling. 19 seconds on the game clock. Stolen by Lucretia Edwards. Shot clock is turned off. 15 seconds to go. Fordham can dribble it out, up by 23, and that's exactly what they will do. Veljevic the last to touch it. 4 seconds to go. One, and that will do it. The Fordham Rams come back after a loss in their A10 opener on the weekday against George Mason. They make the trip out to Long Island for their first game against Hofstra since 2020, and they handle business, getting the win inside the Mack Sports Complex. 69-46 the final. And Dom, for you, what was the most crucial part of Fordham's game today? Because we talked a lot pre-game with Coach B. We talked about what they were going to try to do, that they were going to try to speed up Hofstra a little bit. But as this game went on, there was a lot of sloppy play in that first half, but I think Fordham showed a lot of resiliency when they got punched to start the second half. They really locked back in, made sure to get back up to a lead, and then keep that lead going forward. But for you, what was the most important thing that the Fordham Rams did today to get such a commanding victory?
Oh, their defense, and they've leaned on it all year very, very heavily. 10 points in 2 quarters of play for Hofstra in the first half. That ultimately won them the game. Hofstra showed it a little fight. Fordham able to respond. They even kept all 4 timeouts. Didn't even have to talk things over. Coach B told the ref in the third quarter, he looked at her, he's like, "You want a timeout?" She goes, "Absolutely not." Could read her lips from over here in the Mack Sports Complex, and you got to be happy if you're Fordham. Got to clean some things up, definitely shooting the ball, but you got to be happy too the way Lucretia Edwards played and her response to barely seeing the court last game.
Oh, absolutely. Huge confidence builder if you're Lucretia Edwards in this game. Especially, you look at that last three that she drilled to put the dagger in this game. 13 points for Edwards today on 5 of 9 from the floor, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. Fordham as a team shot 40% from 3, 8 for 20. That might be one of their best marks this season. And they really recovered their field goal percentage as well, 26 for 65 at the end of this one. When that first half looked pretty rough, especially the second quarter, things got very, very quiet. But eventually, you get to the third, get to the fourth quarter, Fordham just able to hold Hofstra off despite everything that they threw at them. And especially excellent way to close out the fourth quarter. No field goals for Hofstra in the last 6 minutes and 3 seconds of game time. The defense absolutely suffocating the Pride at the end of this game. Couple of players fouling out for Hofstra, which you could have expected. They've taken a lot of fouls this year, but 2 starters, definitely not something that you expect. And a leading scorer, also not something that I thought would be in the cards today. But you look at the Fordham Rams, as you mentioned, 4 players in double figures, 10 points for Tia Morgan, 12 for Alexis Black, who was the 3rd leading scorer in this game for the Rams. That comes as a shocker based on how she's played. But it's 13 for Edwards, 14 points for Ugne Sertau-Teta. She had an excellent game as well. Despite the trees in the paint for Hofstra, Sertau-Teta getting it done.
Yeah, the touch. As I said, the Lithuanian locomotive, fabulous around the hoop. Just being able to take contact and still be able to execute at a very high level, she was fabulous. If you're Fordham, too, and as you mentioned, no field goals in the last 6 minutes of the game, you got to be happy going into break with that stat.
Fordham turned the ball over 10 fewer times than Hofstra. 27-17 was that mark. And for the Rams, the rebounding margin also in their favor, 40-32. They had many more paint points, a lot more bench points, but that just comes from Coach B running that many subs. 16 steals for the Rams to 6 for Hofstra. That's the defense coming into play. And what a performance by the Fordham Rams here on a Saturday afternoon. They go into their 15-day break with a nice sweet taste of victory. 69-46, once again the final. The Rams improved to 7-4 on the season. They also improved to 2-3 in road games this year. Their next game, as I said, won't be for another 2 weeks. They're going to be in action December 21st at the Rose Hill Gym at 2 p.m. against St. Francis. But that is going to do it for us this afternoon from the David S. Mack Sports Complex. For Dom Sansone, I've been Tucker Austin, and this has been a production of WFUV Sports.